And then sometimes you get 5 consultations before a diagnosis. So you can imagine the journey. Now, let's take a look. Post-ICP. This is it. Majority of the children receive one face-to-face consultant assessment consultation before a diagnosis. And in that 79%, sometimes you get children having medication started. Yes, lots of pre-work before that assessment. So it's not just, hello, how are you? No. It's a lot of pre-work goes in. They have a quality consultation, and that journey is reduced from, and if you can imagine, 5 consults, 0%. 4 consults, 0%. 3 consults, 0%. So at least they have 1 to 2 consultations before they get their ADHD diagnosis. This is even before we've started using the QB test. So if we use the QB test, it will be interesting whether this is going to change it or not, whether it is going to make it better or it may not make a difference. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the results will be. So as you can imagine, our surveys and audits demonstrated a reduction in patient care journeys from referral to diagnosis. I've just shown you in those graphs. Not only did it do this, but it also led to development of other resources. What have we done? We developed a website, and one of my colleagues who is sitting here, she's smiling, she inspired me. I remember I went for a meeting, and she said to me, oh, I have developed a website called Admire. I said, okay, so if you can develop a website called Admire, I will develop one called Admore. Well, hers is an acronym, mine is not. Okay, so it's a website that can be accessed by professionals, educational health professionals, anyone. And it signposts them to all sorts of other resources. It also tells professionals about our service, okay? So that it makes our service, it renders our service very visible to families, young people, everyone. We tend to get from Google Analytics about approximately 6,000 hits a year. Hopefully, we launched it in 2012 or 2013, and we're hoping that we're going to get more hits. We also developed a dedicated liaison email resource that GPs and mental health professionals can access. If they want to get to us, they can access this dedicated resource. And when we audited it very recently, we realized that we saw that had reduced communication between us and professionals from 2 weeks to less than 72 hours. So it had cut out the bureaucracy. And if you worked in a community department, you realize that there's a lot of it that can go on. But just having an online, I love the Carl who came here and talked to us about how the world has changed. It has changed. We've now gone very electronic. And it's the challenge for professionals to continue utilizing that. We've also developed monthly ADHD psychoeducation parent workshops run by ADHD nurses and us as consultants. Can I say that none of these things that we are doing is commissioned? None of it is commissioned. We are doing this on our own back, based on the advocacy role in terms of reducing stigma where these children, ADHD children or sufferers, are concerned. We have developed other resources. We developed a partnership with the library that is bringing ADHD and other neurodevelopmental problems into the community, a very successful one, and that got us a free room to do our monthly ADHD psychoeducation clinics, meetings with parents. As a writer, I did mention I have written quite a few fictional books to help children understand neurodevelopmental concepts. We are also involved, myself and colleagues are involved in a few media work as well, again, granting interviews or public health education to enhance the profile of these children, and not just ADHD, but other neurodevelopmental disorders. We have a dedicated transition clinics. I think around the country we probably will be one of the lucky ones, because there is a transition pathway in Hertfordshire. But again, there are still non-commissioned things that we do. For example, we have a dedicated transition worker who comes and sits in our transition clinics and then makes sure very complex children who are 18 and above do not slip through the net. Hard work, hard work, hard work, non-commissioned. And we are hoping that we'll develop a future Facebook group for 16 to 18-year-olds and their families, because again, that's the very vulnerable group. Okay, so just to say that the outcome of the pathway, NHS buzzwords, quality improvement, okay? So we have reduced the patient journey. I think we have reduced the potluck system. It's not perfect, but we've done something about it. We've signposted families and professionals to available resources through the pathway. The pathway, we have hard copies, but it can also be easily electronically accessed through our ADMOR website. We've expanded the role of the ADHD nurse with support and signposting with our workshops and also our library partnerships. And as I mentioned, the transition also, we have a transition worker. We have improved communication between us and service users with our website and also our dedicated email resource. And the nice thing is that we've actually improved joint working with CAMP. So we are quite happily married where we are with the CAMP services, and I'm very, very happy. Obviously, development of ADHD specific resources and services has resulted in improved support, and we do get the patient experience feedback as well as confirmation. With regards to potential cost savings, because it's very important to have quality on one hand and then cost improvement, isn't it? So potentially you have a reduction in the total number of ADHD on the caseload due to just efficient referral and transition. If you have children sitting on your caseload and you don't transition them, it will give you a false swelling in your numbers. So it's very important that they are transitioned and not just discharged, but very safely. We have reduced overall patient journey. You saw that we've reduced our consultations from 5,342 to about 2,1, where children will have their diagnosis as well as support and sometimes treatment. We've also expanded the role of our ADHD nurse. They went from a band 6, now they're in a band 7, and they've also got their nurse prescriber status. So that is even very good for us, because I remember when I audited it in 2010, I was doing about 698 prescriptions in a 10-month period. Just me, one single doctor. I didn't even count my colleagues. Just me, I did 698 prescriptions. But obviously from then on, we have not only expanded the role of the ADHD nurse, but we've also developed shared care with the GPs. So our GPs, they've taken over shared care. So that's all part of the pathway as well. So just a little bit of feedback. With the ADHD parent workshop, how valuable did you find coming to a dedicated ADHD information? You can see 100% said they were either of great value or valuable. And the current theme was glad we're not alone. That nearly made me cry, because you can see that a lot of parents do need support, and when they come to a simple thing like a workshop, and time again, you have parents commenting that they are glad they are not alone, but other parents do have the same problems as they have. It's amazing, really. And this is just a little tweet about our ADMOR website. Useful ADHD information on this Eastern North Hertfordshire NHS site. Wish Richmond had a similar one. That was lovely. Okay. Very recently also, we were shortlisted for the Nice Shared Learning Award. I know that Dr. Naidu, you kindly mentioned this, but it was lovely to see that with 70 examples submitted to the Shared Learning Award, standard was extremely high. We found your entry to be particularly impressive. I mean, my team, it was like a little reward for the hard work over how many years, trying to put a pathway together. We were also shortlisted for a Celebration of Excellence Award in our own trust, And I was trying to dodge the CQC when they came, but I was caught because I've got the habit of coming to work very early. So I was interviewed for nearly an hour. We've now received preliminary results from the CQC, and they did list the community services as an area of extremely high good practice. So we are looking forward to good things, because we always consider community pediatric